Deep Shot Podcast, Season 4, Episode 21.
This is like one of the best numbers that you could possibly get. Like there's Dion, there's LT, right? Like you got a bunch of good candidates. What you got, Jake?
Man, well, I really was hoping that Billy Napier had 21 wins at Florida. He has 22 wins at Florida. So close to being able to make this be the Billy Napier episode.
It will be in some sort. What a blow there.
This is how we start off our week. You know, we've had a wonderful week and everybody's been apart from each other. We're just chopping it up before we get on the pod. Wham, gut check. Thanks, Jake. I'm here now. I'm awake.
No problem. The 21 Falcons legend, Desmond Trufant. The Desmond Trufant
That's a good
episode.
one. That's what I was thinking about earlier when I was coming up with one in my head. But welcome to another episode of the Deep Shot Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see something. We've all got the merch on.
Merch.
You heard?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it is finally should be in your mailbox if you don't have it by now. Jake got it all the way in Jacksonville. So I'm hoping by now everyone has theirs. If not, please contact us. But you should have had an email with tracking and everything. Looks like they came out great. So I'm really excited about that. Just wanted to say thank you again to everyone for the support. Never thought we'd get to the point where we're sending out shirts and getting all the views we're getting and having the party on November 22nd at a Mutation Brewery. You know, just deep shot to the moon. And I appreciate everybody that's part of it. Appreciate my co-hosts that get on here twice a week and do a lot for me. So thank you guys. Glad we're making it a little bit.
Hey, we appreciate you, Garrison. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. He's the guy that deserves all the credit, is the one that starts the podcast every episode. And it started with his dream from the beginning. And now it's awesome to see kind of like what comes from that in terms of the work that he's put in.
Caleb is doing tricks on it right now, doing backflips on it.
Dude, Caleb's got that coach talk.
Deserving.
Caleb's got that coach talk though. I remember when we were at the Deep Shot party last year, the way he spoke to everyone about, why we were doing the party, you could tell it was a locker room type speech. He knows how to do it. But thank you guys. Just want to remind everybody that the live stream of me and Swaggy JLK will be live at 7 p.m. We're going to have some trivia going. We've got some great things for the chat that's going to be in there with us. We've got Elite or Not. We're going to be talking about the head coach firing, ranking some of those, the slots that are open. We're going to be, where did this guy go to high school? What state? We always have the NFL, the college, but we're going to see, we're going to be testing some knowledge there. And the biggest kicker of the whole stream, for every touchdown scored in either of the two games, me and Jonathan will have to funnel one Coors Light per touchdown.
Let's go. Oh, let's go. That'll be awesome.
Make sure you guys are tuned in. It should get pretty rowdy. We're hoping for some high scoring, and just make sure you're in the chat, join. We're going to have a good time. If you watch on YouTube, I've got a new background. I'm making it more appeasable and need some better lights back here by tomorrow. But make sure you guys are tuned in for that. Let's get into the episode. Wild weekend in college football. I think there was 9 or 10 ranked teams that lost. Back to Miami on Friday. That's not where we're going to start, but let's start in Athens. I was at this game, one of the most electric UGA football games in terms of scoring that I've seen since maybe like Georgia LSU back in like 2013. I want to say that was. It was just back and forth. If you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. Georgia and Ole Miss. Georgia wins 43-35. Georgia scored on every single possession they had in this game, except for the last one where they took a kneel. Ole Miss scored on their first 5 drives of the game. From the first to the third quarter, they scored on every single possession. But that fourth quarter, man, they slowed down, and Trinidad Chambliss, who had been perfect all day, had to have completed at least 80% of his passes at that point. Ends up just kind of ducking some at the end. He really kind of screwed up. There was the post route the tight end ran, where he kind of just threw him at their feet. And ever since that moment, everything started to shift in Georgia's way. Gunnar Stockton, man, you can't say enough about him. I have been defending Gunnar Stockton since back in the preseason show. The guy had an awesome day, 26 for 31, over 340 yards total, 5 total touchdowns. The guy does it with his legs and his arm. he didn't even practice most of the week. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
They came out and said he barely practiced. He was so roughed up from the Auburn game. The Georgia pass rush in this game doesn't exist. It doesn't exist on this team, and that's a big problem. They have 8 sacks this season, the least amount in the SEC. The corners were awful. They got burnt every single time. I think the only reason they didn't get a flag on that last slot fade is because Trinidad Chambliss threw too good of a ball, and our guy was beat and just kind of, was able to swat at it. This team just is the most resilient team in college football. I've been seeing that all weekend. People saying that about this team, and I totally agree with it. It's scary to watch as a fan. It's not enjoyable until the fourth quarter. When I was at the game, they had the Jumbotron said, "We own the fourth quarter," and I had a moment in my head. I was like, "We really do,
yeah,
really do," and they did. What a game! Ole Miss is a really good team, and they, you could probably say if they were once, it was whoever got the first stop was going to win, and Georgia did. They go into a bye week, got to come out stronger and play Florida in 2 weeks. But what a way to survive another week.
Yeah, we do own the fourth quarter. I saw an interview with Kirby Smart today. He was talking about how this Georgia team is hard to kill. And I think that's the best adjective to describe them. They're hard to kill. They're hard to kill at Auburn. They were hard to kill this week. They were hard to kill against Tennessee. They're a very resilient bunch, led by a guy like Gunnar Stockton, who I just can't get enough of. I love watching this guy play every single Saturday. And I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more down the road, but it was just a little bit of like, I had my cake and ate it too, because Gunnar Stockton, 340 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. And that bum who leaves Georgia to go down to Miami and chase the clicks, throws 4 picks, should have been 5, and looked terrible on Friday night getting beat. So this was, I will say, as a University of Georgia football fan, this weekend was awesome because this was one of the best regular season wins I can remember. You talked about that LSU game. Who was our quarterback there? Was that Hudson Mason? No, it was Aaron Murray. It was Aaron Murray. Aaron Murray versus
Mettenberger.
Zach Mettenberger, another former Dog. That was an awesome game. It was almost on that level. I mean, it probably a little bit more because the points just would not stop. And it's funny you said like who gets that first stop. Well, shoot, it felt like we were getting stopped because we were the ones that had to kick a field goal. When we were kicking field goal, I was like, there it goes. We're done. And it was 7-3. And then we scored a touchdown. Then Ole Miss right back down the field. They didn't make a mistake. They did not make a mistake on offense until the fourth quarter. Our defense finally was able to just make a play here and a play there. Perfect. Literally a perfect game from Mike Bobo. I'm not,
a lot of wide receiver screens called in that game. Let me tell you, I saw one in the first quarter, and then I didn't see another one until the fourth. Just want to point that out. The offense looked great, and we didn't see a lot of those. So maybe just copy that going forward. They ran the ball. Yeah.
49 carries, 49 rushes, 221 yards. But we didn't run a lot of wide receiver screens, and we were still able to get Zach Branch the ball 8 times. Last shout out for me, Lawson Lucky, 5 catches, 43 yards, 3 tuds. 3 tuds. I don't believe he had a touchdown coming into this game. 3 of them on Saturday. Big win for the Dogs.
Yeah, you guys covered most of it. However, I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to Mike Bobo here because a lot of people have just been trying to throw this guy in the trash, alley-oop him into the garbage bin for the last, year and a half because the same thing y'all talked about. You guys won a shootout against Lane Kiffin in your own building, and you were like, whoa, we didn't get any wide receiver screens. I mean, like, that's kind of been the message around him, I think, for a while, but the guy has dialed it up a couple of times this year to get you guys kind of where you are now. I would say that Glenn Schumann's lagging behind him in terms of prowess on the coordinator side of your team right now. And nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to throw Glenn Schumann's name in all these head coaching hires. You never hear a peep about Mr. Bobo.
He tried once and it did not work out at Colorado State, but yes,
it was bad. It was real bad. Trinidad Chambliss, fourth quarter. I don't know what Lane Kiffin's going to do to coach this guy out of this habit, but I mean, you guys talked about the stops. The 2 stops, it wasn't like they were very competitive either on Ole Miss's side. Like they were incomplete passes. I think there was 1 completion on those 2 drives in the fourth quarter that they went 3 and out after not getting stopped the entire game before that. I mean, do you blame the quarterback? Do you say Jordan Mays is going to play? Do you say the culture outlasts? You think Ole Miss ran out of gas? It really probably depends on who the hell you were pulling for in that situation. But Georgia made the play at the end of the day on both drives to get it out of their hands and get it back in Gunnar Stockton's hands. And the guy played his ass off. Gunnar Stockton had his best game of his career. It's going to be hard for him to top a game like that in this setting too. I mean, this was like top 5 team coming into your building. You were down the entire game until there was like 7 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, it was his best game since the Tennessee game, where people were like, man, it's going to be hard for him to top this game against Tennessee. And he does it. This guy's a baller, and he's a player, and he's now the 4th overall odds for the Heisman, and he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. He's a gamer. He can throw. I mean, he's not like this, like, oh, he's a dual threat guy. He's a runner, but he can throw. He is a passer of the football. He throws the ball violently. He throws the ball accurately. He throws it down the field. And he can tuck it, and he can run you over. I love Gunnar Stockton. I love him.
I love him too. And I think one of the best things about him is just listening to him in an interview, because he just has, I mean, I don't think his brain goes very far into like thought whenever they're asking him questions. It's just the same answer every single time. Yep. We made a good play there. I'm just glad we got the win. Yeah. I threw it up there and you made a great play. Yep.
He's just a good old-fashioned Georgia country boy. He drives an old Ford. He likes to go fishing. He likes to hunt. I mean, that's what every single Georgia quarterback should be. Every single Georgia quarterback should be the type of person that Gunnar Stockton is.
He is like kind of like Jake Fromm, but I think he's better than Jake Fromm because of how good how mobile he is and things like that. But he gives me those type of vibes, just a winner.
Absolutely. He gets it done off the field as well, guys. I mean, I had a buddy of mine, his brother goes to Georgia, was out on the town after the game Saturday night. Him and Drew Bobo went out together, him and his center, taking shots, throwing them around a bar up there. So also, guys, a time on and off the field.
Let's go. All right, well, big win. Like I said, Georgia's going into a bye week, so that'll be nice before we come out. Hopefully get healthy, get a little better.
Destroy and demolish the Florida Gators.
Who?
The Florida Gators.
Don't you see what's behind me, pal? I'm not here for any smoke. You just brought out the 12-gauge shotgun. I've got a pencil. That's what I've got.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll talk about Florida here in a little bit, but let's talk about the night game, 3rd Saturday in October. Bama beats Tennessee 37-20. Man, it really felt like Tennessee, they lose this game by 17. Feels like it should have been a lot closer. Feels like they really just kind of shot themselves in the foot. It started with that safety that Joey took. It was like a 10-yard sack, and he backed up all the way into the end zone and took a safety. I think he maybe threw an intentional grounding or something, and that's what resulted. But anyway, Bama ends up scoring a touchdown on the next drive. So it's a 9-point swing there. And then the infamous interception at the goal line just can't happen as the time expires in the half. Joey Aguilar made some boneheaded mistakes in this game, and that pretty much cost them. I mean, that's 16 points right there. They lost the game by 17. So those two, moments were really the game for Alabama. And Ty Simpson does it again. We have, given him his praise on this podcast. Him and those receivers are on one. Ryan Williams didn't do great. Didn't even have a catch against Missouri. Came back and had a really good game on Saturday. They still cannot run the ball. They have a huge problem with that. Jam Miller was back in this game, and he ran the ball 12 times for 15 yards. Can't stop the run either. Tennessee's ran for 150, but I mean those are like the weaknesses that Alabama's had all year, and they've still been able to get it done. I think legitimately, I'm going to get this take out here. I think Alabama, if they could figure out how to run the ball, like they might be the best team in the country right now.
Yeah, would you? Would you?
I mean, like we're going to talk about our top 10 rankings earlier. I had them over A&M. Like I think they're better than A&M right now. I really think they're better than Indiana and Ohio State too. It's just a merit thing of that.
I mean, you confidently say that though, because we really feel like we hadn't seen Ohio State really do the thing against somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like they're the only other team that would be in that conversation. But I'm so with you. If they can get a little bit of the rushing attack going, like Jeremy Bernard was their leading rusher. He's their best receiver, by the way. And half of his yards came on a busted double pass that he just knew instinctively, unlike the USC player we're probably going to talk about later, to instead of, bobble it or fumble it or do whatever you need to, turn it over, I'm going to just run with it. And he got yardage. That is their sign to run the ball. It's terrible right now. It's really not good. Jam Miller's 12 of 15. Or
That's
12
bad.
carries for 15 yards.
Right?
It's awful.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, this game all hinges on that turnover before the half. So I have two things I really want to say. Tennessee looked pretty decent in the first half. You know, they have that brutal safety, but they're still able to move the ball. And then, man, if they were able to end the half with a touchdown right there and go into the break 16-14.
And they got the ball to start the second half.
And they got the ball to start it. They go down 4 plays, 61 yards. They score a touchdown. Dude, they'd be winning at that point. It'd be 21-16 Tennessee, and this whole game goes differently. I mean, think about it. That's a 14-point swing there before the half. 14-point swing, and they wind up losing it by 17. So just a tough break for Tennessee. You cannot make mistakes like that and expect to beat an Alabama team. That's never happened. It's never going to happen, simply put. I will say this. So one of my picks for this game was the over 58. If you're good with the math, 37 plus 20 is 57. So 1 point miss. Watch the last play of this game. He scored a touchdown. That was a touchdown. It wasn't even close. If you watch it, you're like, yeah, it's a touchdown. It's not even. I don't even get how it wasn't even reviewed, but I get boned out of it. God, two of my picks. And my picks, I'm just cursed. But truly, I just believe my picks are cursed because I should have gone like 4-1, but I wind up going 1-5, 1-4. So, but that was bull crap. I don't know if y'all saw the last play of the game. It should have been a touchdown.
I think I had flipped it by then. No, or I was just watching another game. I think there was.
I was in the sheets.
I saw all the tweets about it. I saw Portnoy was going nuts about it. That's the only reason I knew about it.
Yeah. Caden Proctor might be the best left tackle in America. No, I think he showed his tail off in this game. We talk about the pick six. Yeah, that was the play, but the highlight of him, he didn't carry the ball, I don't think, this game, but he did block two people by throwing one into the other on a touchdown play. It was pretty insane. And also Ty Simpson, I don't know if you guys paid attention during the game and saw his brother was in town for a visit. His mom was sitting on the other side of the stadium. His dad was with his brother. His dad's a coach at a small school in Tennessee, a college. And maybe they're just going to run it back again. Ty Simpson brothers, back to back.
Who knows? But yeah, Ty Simpson's playing really good right now. Alabama, they got to go to South Carolina this week, and then they got to bye and then a little stretch. So I mean, they're in the driver's seat for sure right now going forward. Tennessee, I heard this take, is Josh Heupel just the SEC James Franklin?
He's won though. He beat Tennessee 2 of the last 3 years.
He beat Alabama, you mean?
Yeah. And you look at this. When we were talking about the Tennessee-Bama game on the last episode, I was just while one of y'all were talking, I was on the Wikipedia page going over winners. Alabama beat Tennessee 15 straight years. 15 straight years. Heupel comes to town and he gets 2 out of 3. I mean, Josh Heupel is the best coach that has walked through Tennessee in a very hot minute. He is. Yeah, I think that's a little disrespectful to the guy.
Okay, let's talk about another SEC game. LSU Vandy, 31-24. Vandy is 6-1. We talked about this last week when we previewed the game that, we kind of thought LSU was going to be able to win this game. They still can't run the ball. They had 100 yards rushing, and they had a 51-yard run in this game. So other than that, they did nothing on the ground. Whit Weeks was out for this game. They announced that during game day, so that obviously probably had a huge impact on the defense. The defense gave up the first 5 drives that Vanderbilt had, they scored on. So obviously they were long, methodical drives that Whit Weeks being there would have probably been really beneficial. Diego Pavia has a great game, 86 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, another $160 through the air. And to go back what I was saying, we talked about this last week, that Vandy wins this, and all of a sudden, Vandy could make the playoff.
Are you ready to say that? Actually, are we in that territory for real?
I'm in that territory. I mean, why not? Why not? They're a good team. I mean, they held their own at Bama for a hot minute in that when the final score doesn't reflect it, but they did. I mean, it was a game. It was the game until the fourth quarter. Yeah. They go to Missouri. They're at Texas. I can see them winning.
No, they got Vanderbilt. They got Missouri at home this week. That's for game day.
They're at home against Missouri. Then they're at Texas, is what I was saying. And then home against Auburn, home against Kentucky, at Tennessee. They can win those games.
There's got to be a loss in there somewhere.
Dude, I don't know. I look at that schedule. I think this week is the biggest chance they have to lose against Missouri, which this week, that game's going to be a big who's game. One of those teams is really going to be in a good spot to go like we said, to the playoffs, and the other one's gonna, have to, be on the heels. But no, I'm ready to say it. I mean, Vandy's good. Vandy is way better than LSU, and I think LSU, kept it close. But I thought I didn't think for a second LSU was going to win that game. Did you?
Not at all. I think it's more just so a sign that we were all three right on LSU not being nearly as good as what people thought. They can't run the ball. Garrett Nussmeier is being he's Superman. He's got to put the cape on every game. If not, they're going to lose. And he's not even outperformed half of his stats last year. Like, it's not good.
There's a stat that said whatever his highest amount of passing yards is this year, he did that 8 times last year.
That's crazy. Just what's the explanation?
I keep hearing that he's hurt, but I'm also
there's some of that. He doesn't have a run game to protect him anymore either. And I think some of the skill players are just not nearly as good as what they had last year. Like, rest in peace. But Kyron Lacey was a bad man.
They don't have Kyron Lacey. Yeah, that's very true. The biggest thing that came out of this one, in my opinion, was Diego Pavia hitting the Heisman in the end zone.
I would love to just see it. I don't, you could argue though, if they like I'm saying, if they go 11-1 and he keeps up pace, who else is more valuable to their team than Diego Pavia if they finish 11-1 and go to the playoffs? I mean, come on, think about it. No one else is going to take Vandy to where they are other than that guy.
Point. It's a fair point. I mean, maybe, but he's doing it.
No,
he's doing it.
Yeah, dude, he's awesome.
There's no way they go 11-1, guys. They're not beating all 5 of those teams down the stretch. I don't think they go into Tennessee and win at the end. Dude, no chance.
I don't know, bro. It's hard to wrap your head around the fact that Vandy can do that, but I think they can do that.
The schedule. I mean, they trounce Virginia Tech on the road. They go to South Carolina and destroy them. I know both those teams are down, but they are still Virginia Tech and South Carolina. They beat Georgia State 70-21, Utah State 55-35. The Bama game was a game until 5 minutes left.
The Bama game, they could have won that. If they don't turn the ball over twice in the red zone, which is obviously just that you're not going to win games doing that. Ask Tennessee against Alabama. Like, they could have won that game. Like, they had Alabama. Alabama didn't score a touchdown in the second half until that the last second bullshit cover one. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know.
I saw a tweet today of a national championship field with Vanderbilt versus Indiana. And I would sell my toe, maybe my entire left foot, if it meant I could watch a Vandy Indiana national championship. Dude. That'd be pretty.
There would be 1,200 people watching the game.
Oh, dude,
I disagree. I think
yeah. I'd go, dude. That'd be awesome. Let's LSU though, real quick before we move on. A lot of coaching stuff going on right now. What do we think about Brian Kelly?
That's hot. That seat's warm, brother. He's got it on level 2 in the car right now. It ain't 3, but it's close.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's not good. It's not good. He's lost every big game he's had this year. Because we look at that Clemson game, at the time that was a top 5 win. Clemson sucks.
Here's the thing about the coaching cycle. I think it's going to be like a ravaging thing at this point. You just saw James Franklin get fired for going to the playoff. Okay, so if that team over there, if I'm a LSU fan, that team over there is willing to do that. They're willing to pay him $60 million to say, get out of my face and let's go have a new hope in voice and vision. What are you doing? I'm telling you, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the institution.
Exactly.
On a lot of them.
Let's talk about
they got A&M. Sorry, last thing. They have A&M this week and then at Bama. I mean, it doesn't get easier for the Tigers.
Yeah. No, they got to win at least against A&M.
Won't do it.
Okay. Let's talk about the Florida Gators, Caleb. Won 23-21, but we did talk about this last week. This was reported on this podcast and probably other places that Billy Napier was still going to end up being fired after this game, and he is. He's gone. The countdown for Florida and James Franklin is on. It is in gear. I'm just, that would be funny. You did say 3rd, 4th on your list, but, hearing a lot of Lane Kiffin, just walk us through the emotions of the last 24 hours. Your team did decide to, cut the guy.
Definitely didn't want to see, everyone. If your team's firing their head coach, it's not good. So you don't want to be in that spot. What is this, popcorn? What are we doing? What is this, Jake? He's down here eating popcorn in my funeral. I'm sitting here with a Kleenex in my hand right here, and he's just eating my face. Anyways, I think one tweet summed it up for me that I saw 2 days ago. It was even before he got fired, but it was after Mississippi State game. They said it was somebody, Florida Twitter. I have never liked a head coach so much off the field, but hated him on the field. And that's the honest truth. Like, he did everything right off the field. I think I still stand by my stance that whoever comes to get that job next is in a way better position than when he was there in that same boat in 2021. And, we're talking about the list or whatever. The reason why I had James Franklin 3 is because I don't think I'm going to get the 2. I think it's 1. There's no way Lane Kiffin turns this job down. That's my opinion.
Do you really think that is? I have a hard time thinking he's just going to leave Ole Miss. I just do.
So rumor mill is Lane Kiffin signed a contract to go to Auburn in the last coaching cycle, but it had a contingency clause, and they were going to fire Hugh in the process, but clean it up. But he got out. His daughter made that post, that little, I don't know if you guys seen the Lane Kiffin documentary where she came in there and showed him a presentation, Don't League Oxford. He was leaving. He backed out of the deal within a week. So the guy already wants to leave. It's not going to get better than what he's going to get at Florida in terms of resources, new facilities. We're about to get a stadium upgrade. It is a top 10 job in college football.
I don't think it's out of the question in the slightest. And I'd honestly, at this point, I think Florida, if they're smart, I think y'all go all in on them. And I think y'all
throw $12.5 million.
Throw the absolute house at them. We want you here. Come. And I think Lane has done an incredible job at Ole Miss. I think he's probably, the best coach in Ole Miss history. I feel like Ole Miss football is consistently at the best point it's ever been at right now. And that is because of Ole Miss, the culture he's brought in, the recruits he's been able to bring in. But I think Ole Miss is at its peak. It's going to be really, really, really hard to get a national championship out of Ole Miss. It is going to take a lot of people to put in a lot of more money at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss just doesn't have those boosters, doesn't have that alumna that Florida has. People will put in a absolute, hell of a lot of money into Florida football, so I don't think it's out.
Basketball got good quick. You don't think the same thing is about to happen in football as well now that they're able to revenue share on top of what they're going to be able to give the players? It's going to be one of those $50-$55 million pool places in America. And like I said, everything's brand new. If he can do this at Ole Miss, like what Jake said, with limited resources, don't you think it's immediate top 10 contender every year that he's at Florida?
I think it can be. I think it can be.
That place can pop just as big as anywhere else in America if it's done right.
It'll be interesting, dude. If he doesn't go, let's say he just decides to stay at Ole Miss. Who is it? Who's it going to
Fish?
I think it's either Jed Fish or Drinkwitz.
Drinkwitz, dude. It's fishing out of the SEC head coach. What a world, dude. Could you imagine?
You got to have somebody that knows how to do it.
Could you imagine if in the NFL, when the Bucks fired their coach, they tried to hire the Falcons coach?
Yeah.
That would be insane. Okay. Well, good thing that Florida is making changes.
Caleb, I have a name for you.
Okay.
Bryant Vincent. He's the current head coach at the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks.
What is he beating up on Georgia Southern too much?
If Florida wants to dip their toes back in the Sun Belt, Bryant Vincent.
Okay. Well, look, if you want to have this conversation,
you can have Clay Helton.
Billy, I don't want him. Thank you, though. He can be an analyst, maybe. Billy Napier was the second or third hottest name in that cycle whenever he came out. It wasn't like it was unwarranted.
Yeah, I will say, I do remember that. But, I think it's funny to go from we're gonna hire the guy out of the Sun Belt to now, no, we're getting the coach from the top 5 team.
Hot coach.
Yeah.
The margins are too slim, dude. You got to have one of the dudes. Lane Kiffin's the top 5 coach in college football right now. You got to have him.
All right.
Throw him $15 million if you need to. Please.
Let's talk about another team in Florida, the Miami Hurricanes. The Deep Shot Podcast, number 1 ranked team, falls on Friday night to Louisville. We did talk about it on last episode that this was possible. Deep Shot Dave, our guest picker, came out and picked it as his deep shot, and it happened. And Jake's mentioned it earlier, Carson Beck, 4 interceptions in this game. It does. I don't think he ever threw 4 in a game at Georgia. He threw 3 a couple times. Seems like he's never just going to throw 1. He's always going to throw more than 1 because it just starts going insane. And Louisville, give credit, they came out in this game and were hot in the first quarter. They were up 14-0 pretty quickly, and then the interception started coming. So they already had a lead. But for Miami to lose this game by 3 with as bad as Carson Beck was giving the game away, because that defense stepped up to stay in the game as long as they were. It's just a total Miami move to fall short. Louisville's a good team. I'm not saying they're a bad squad, but Miami should have won this game. We talked about Miami, just got to go through the rest of this easy ACC schedule, and they're in the driver's seat. And I'm not convinced that Carson Beck doesn't have another one of these games.
Shoot, I hope so. But yeah, I mean, their schedule the rest of the way it's not tough. I mean, it's not hard. I mean, maybe at SMU is like their toughest game at home against NC State. But I mean, I think they should be able to take care of both of those. Louisville's not a bad team. Louisville is arguably a good team. Their coach is a beast. He is 4-0 in the regular season against top 5 teams. I mean, talk about a stat. Talk about a statistic. And they played basically a perfect game, outside of his thing here and there. I mean, Miller Moss is a heck of a good quarterback. I enjoy watching him. I liked him at Southern Cal. And then he coupled that all up together with Carson Beck, an absolute stinker of all stinkers. Those 4 picks should have been 5. But I'll tell you, probably the most disappointing thing was after the game, Carson Beck goes to the media and he immediately trashes his receivers and says how, they're running wrong routes and doing all this, that, and the other. And I mean, he just sucks. He just sucks. He's just not good. And who does that? Who does that? As soon as the game's over, you go to it's like, oh yeah, there's miscommunication on that route at the end. Guy ran the wrong route. We move on. So who does that? What are you trying to prove?
I think it's
Nothing
he does not win the teammate award anywhere he goes, huh?
No,
Nothing
and he
in
wants to
NFL
do all the BS at UGA and talk about how they were taking away his love of the game and how he was having to fight through all this. And then he goes, sorry, what were you saying?
The start of the game. Do you guys remember the graphic they showed at the start of the game? And it was his quote. Like, what did the quote say? But it was basically like something like you're saying. They showed it at the beginning of the Louisville game on Friday night that Carson Beck was like, everyone doubted me. I'm ready to prove. It was something of that nature. And then for him to go have that game.
And it's so stupid because he literally has the injury. He tells University of Georgia that he's going to go into the NFL draft. Then Georgia moves on, and they're starting to Rocky Gunner Stockton. And then out of nowhere, Carson pulls out the draft, and he goes to Miami, and now he wants to act like Georgia did him wrong. He's an absolute crybaby, and I'm telling you, there's not one tear lost watching Carson Beck embarrass himself in front of the country on Friday night, and I hope it continues to crash and burn. Public enemy number 1. As soon as he was smiling on the sideline, as we were getting our butts kicked up and down the field against Ole Miss, public enemy number 1, Carson Beck, Sid the Sloth.
Jeez, that one on the way out right there?
Yeah. What was Timmy? Timmy. He's Timmy.
I think the more crash and burn, obviously Carson Beck was terrible, but Miami's run game didn't help them out at all. Go look at the box score. And, people that may say box score this, box score that, it actually matters here, folks. You read it. You had 2 rushers that had 12 yards on a carry, just their longest one. Okay, so you got 24. Add 6 to that and 2 other ball carriers that had 10. You're left with almost under 20 yards right there that Miami had rushing the ball on 20 other attempts. That's terrible. We see this trend all the time right here. When we talked about teams that have lost here on this podcast the last week, this week, the week before, right? It's teams that don't run the ball effectively and put their quarterback in bad situations. They did the same thing this night. And I told somebody that I'm friends with, he's actually a Miami fan, that I thought those players were not going to be up for that game no matter what, no matter if DJ Khaled was doing the warm-up with them or not. It was going to be mind out of sight just because it was a Friday night. You know what I'm saying? It's Miami, brother. You're going to get Saturday and Sunday off. We all know what's going on. Their mind was not in the game. To me,
here's the quote. It was Carson Beck on narrative after transfer to Miami. They chewed me up and spit me out and lied about my character. And then he went and trashed his teammate.
Who does he think he's fooling? Honestly, the reality is he probably fools a lot of people with that. But any person who ever kept track of Georgia football last year, understands what it is. Carson Beck sucked the entire season, and all Georgia did and all Georgia fans did was back him up in every single opportunity. Every single opportunity.
Well, he takes a tough loss there. We'll see what happens with Miami going forward. Let's talk about some other games before we move on here to our top 10. USC Notre Dame. That was a wild game. USC really had a chance there at the end. That play, did you guys see that play at the end? where they basically, it was 4th and 1, and they decided to run like a halfback toss throw, and it just absolutely got botched. Did you guys see that?
Yep.
It was, I mean, talk about, as a team at USC who gave up like 300 yards rushing in this game and couldn't run the ball for shit. Now they were down some running backs, but talk about just being such a pussy. The total Lincoln Riley move in that game. So just wanted to bring that up. Ohio State beat Wisconsin 34-0. Another, intense game in the Big Ten. Same goes for Indiana, 38-13 over Michigan State. Texas A&M, Arkansas. That one was a little close there at the end. Bobby Petrino is fishing for a win, dude, and he almost got it. That offense for Arkansas, I think the stat is they have 4 games this year where they have over 500 yards and have lost.
When Taylor Green's on, this team is dangerous. The Arkansas team is dangerous when he's playing well. That's a fact.
He's got some pop for sure. And Bobby Petrino is just turning it loose, dog. I mean, he's got every bridge to burn. He's already burned them all. There's just him on the moat, sitting in the middle of the island by himself. And he's going to beat one of these SEC teams at some point this year. It's going to happen.
Oh, he
made it close with everybody.
He's going to ruin somebody's season for sure.
Let's look at the schedule. Let's see. Let's make a prediction. So it's Auburn, Mississippi State, LSU, Texas, Missouri. Who do they end? Last game of the season, Missouri.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze is going to be fired this weekend.
Yeah, after Auburn, yeah, he's definitely on the seat. I think they could beat LSU and Texas and Missouri, honestly. Yeah. Okay. Go back to Friday for a second. Minnesota beat Nebraska 24-6. Hit my first deep shot of the year. So Matt Rule not paying attention, hearing too much of his name at Penn State. Told you. Arizona State beats Texas Tech 26-22. Texas Tech didn't have their quarterback, but Arizona State gets a big win in the Big 12, kind of shaking some things up. Oregon smoked Rutgers 56-10. Georgia Tech 7-0, first time I think since the 90s that they have been 7-0 in a season. They beat Duke 27-18. Oklahoma gets it done at South Carolina. South Carolina is a bad football team right now, very bad. BYU beats Utah in the Holy War. BYU 7-0. Missouri beats Auburn in double overtime at Jordan Hare, and the refs are complaining again. We just mentioned Hugh Freeze might be fired here soon. He is he's a baby, and that team's a bunch of babies. And also
the kicker needs to be fired too.
He
needs to be fired. The kicker for Auburn, he missed like 2 or 3 field goals for them.
Yeah. He was having an awful game. And then the Virginia beats Washington State, South Florida wins, Texas, Kentucky. If you didn't watch that game, Kentucky had a fourth. It goes to overtime, first of all. And the Texas only had 1 touchdown in this game, and it was because they started the ball at the 5-yard line. But Kentucky has this ball on the 1-yard line, 4th and goal in the first overtime. They got the ball first. And they I kind of understand it, I guess, but they decided to go for a touchdown instead of the field goal, because obviously Texas offense has shown the ability to score in the game, and they don't get it. And then Texas gets the bottom half, kicks a field goal, wins the game 16-13. Texas sucks, and Kentucky, Mark Stoops should be fired just for that. UAB beat Memphis 31-24. Memphis' first loss of the season. UAB just fired Trent Dilfer last week, and then they go get a win. A couple other games. Michigan beats Washington, and SMU beat Clemson. SMU undefeated in the ACC right now. Clemson didn't have Cade Klubnik in this game. It showed. UNLV gets their first loss to Boise State, 56-31. Yeah, that's some scores around the league. And also, to wrap it up here, Florida State lost to Stanford. They're 0-4 in the ACC. Southern beat State 41-24. Yep. UCLA wins their 3rd straight game, beats Maryland 20-17, and Penn State loses their 4th straight game to Iowa 25-24.
To start it off with, I don't know if y'all heard, but on Saturday, we across the country, we had a No Kings protest. Well, apparently Haynes King was not aware of this because Haynes King went out and had an absolute game, 120 yards on the ground, 205 through the air, a huge win for Georgia Tech. So I don't know why they were on the streets in Atlanta saying No Kings, because Haynes King, your quarterback, was going off, playing great.
I think Georgia Tech's, there was a major play in this game that turned the whole thing around where Duke was going in and they fumbled and Georgia Tech scooped and scored it. Massive play in the game, ended up pretty much being the difference in it. But yeah, 7-0. First time top 10 since when? I mean, it's been a long time since the city's been up like this.
I know that Georgia Tech game in the year is going to get insane. I mean, it could be 10-1, 11 versus 11-0, or I mean, either way, it's going to be two highly ranked teams for the first time in a long time. And that game's in the bins on 3:30 on Black Friday, if you don't know that already. Okay, our top 10 this week 9, we have number 1, new team at the top, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. Number 3, Texas A&M. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, Georgia. Number 6, Georgia Tech. Number 7, Ole Miss. 8, Oregon. 9, Vanderbilt. 10, Miami. And our first team out is BYU. Who had BYU in their top 10?
BYU was just the highest ranked undefeated team, so I put them first.
Okay, so we all had the same 10 teams again?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, you guys, that's pretty similar to mine. I had, like I said, I had Alabama over A&M, but I think everything else was kind of the same there for me. What about you guys?
I had Oregon way lower than all of you. I had Oregon at 10. I just
Really?
don't think their schedule really provides what the hell their ranking is. I think Vandy and Miami's like resume is still pretty decently strong. It's better than Oregon's. I know they just lost, but they got the same amount of wins and losses. And you tell me Vandy's schedule don't look better than Oregon's as well? And I think just coming off a recent loss, you put Miami down, Vandy up when they beat a top 25 team.
I was really tempted to put Bama above Texas A&M, but I just 7-0, 6-1. It's hard. It's hard to justify it. It's hard.
7-6.
6, 7, 6, 6, 7.
7-6.
Wow, we made it how far into the pod? First time we said 6, 7. I can't see the time.
All right, let's talk.
Mike Evans just died on the field. Yeah, bad. First came back from injury. So that NFL news. And then one other NFL news. Brandon Graham is coming out of retirement to rejoin the Eagles. How about that? 2-time Super Bowl champion.
The one that retired in the offseason last year?
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, they need help, huh?
Yeah, apparently so.
But then somebody
didn't somebody else just retire on the Eagles last week? I think
somebody did.
Look that up. Look that up. Look that up. Eagles player.
Damn.
So Darius Smith retired from the NFL. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, Ziggy Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got Brandon Graham back out. That's funny. Let's talk about more of the NFL. Let's talk about the Sunday games. Let's start with our Sunday night football. The Atlanta Falcons lose to the San Francisco 49ers 20-10 was the final score there. The offense had a struggle in this game. It just was not what we saw on Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. And Mac Jones and these 49ers, man, I mean, they are out a bunch of people. They kept showing Fred Warner in the box in this game. And Christian McCaffrey really is the story of the team. I mean, I don't have him in fantasy, but I did see Blake put him on the trade block the other day. And so I decided to look at his stats. He's number 1 running back in fantasy. He's obviously still really important to this team and really good when he's healthy. But for the Falcons, just another, I can't see this team going better than 9-8 at this point. I just think it's hard for this team to keep momentum. It's hard for the coaches to keep momentum. The coaching is so bad, and we've been talking about that for a while. And just disappointing on Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, very disappointing. But like I was saying to Garrison before the pod, I wasn't really shocked by this. Coming off of a big win against Washington at home, following that up with a big win against Buffalo. Short week. We're traveling across the country to play against a good 49ers team. And we could talk about how banged up they are. And they are. And it's still very well coached. It's still Kyle Shanahan on the other sideline. They still got Christian McCaffrey. They still got Robert Saleh telling the defense what to do. I mean, you talk about two of the best people you want telling your offensive and defensive units what to do. I mean, it doesn't get much better than those two. And then you couple that with an incredible game for Christian McCaffrey. Mac Jones was efficient. And then Mike Penix did not play his cleanest game last night. The offensive line really, really, really struggled. Elijah Wilkinson, which has been I will give Wilkinson a lot of credit, because when he was picked up a week before the season started, when we had the whole right tackle situation started where, our top 2 guys go down and we have to sign Elijah Wilkinson off the street. He shows up and he's our guy in a week. He's done a pretty good job. All things considered, he got absolutely exposed last night. Exposed. We have Jake Matthews on one leg. Matthew Bergeron, our interior guys, he didn't look great. We weren't really able to run the football. And then, like I said, Mike looked a little slow. Now he's banged up. Apparently, he has a bone to bruise. He's going to be day to day. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Kirk Cousins play against the Dolphins. I really wouldn't, because I think that is
dude.
I think
Could you
that is an
imagine?
incredibly easy game. I think we should be able to take care of the Dolphins easily, even with Kirk Cousins. So I'm kind of with it. I'm kind of for it. I kind of want to see Kirk Cousins this week.
No,
Give
you
Mike-
don't. What the
Yeah.
hell are you talking about?
Because we got Mike as a bone bruise. Like, he's hurt. Let him rest. Get him healthy. I promise you Kirk Cousins can take care of the Dolphins. I promise you that. So I want to see Kirk. I'm not calling for Mike's job or anything, but
I think that'd be a real good treat, just to get to watch Kirk for one game.
Kirk Cousins versus Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, that's must-see television. Must see. I mean, dude, never forget Kirktober. It is October. He might go for 600. That's honestly a good point. I need to think about that. But I mean, just
Start him. You know what? Bench Penix anyways. At least this game. Got to get it in before the month's over.
Dude, Penix, like, I've still, like, for the record, like, I still do believe in Penix, but I got to start seeing some more consistency out of this guy, because he will throw. I mean, I know it's still early. I know this was like his 9th career start. Like, he's still young in terms of NFL experience, but it's like, man, you'll see a pass where it's like, man, that's my quarterback. Let's go. And then he skips a slant route. It's like, what are we doing? And that just kills the drive. Right before halftime, we are sitting with 3 points already in our pocket, and he gets hit with intentional grounding, 10-second runoff. That's the end of the half. He seems timid to run at some points, which is not what you want to see.
Wouldn't you if you blew both knees out?
Yeah, but I mean, still, like, we got to see it. Like, you run and slide. He's too athletic to just be, scared to run the football. We have
Dude,
to
he's
see it.
stilts out there.
Extent. Oh, well, I don't know. Last night was not very encouraging, but I did kind of see it coming. That would have, if we would have won last, you say, like, again, one more time, like what I said to Garrison, we are not going to win the Super Bowl. This is not a Super Bowl winning team. So what we saw when we beat Buffalo is like up at like probably like a 10 of what we're capable of. We're probably around like a 6 or a 7. That was not intentional. That was completely not intentional.
Did you guys see the South Park skit?
I haven't watched the dude.
I have not seen it. I'm gonna go bookmark it on Twitter right now.
You guys should just go look up the Instagram clip they posted of it. It's like a minute and a half long. It is.
It's an entire episode. The entire episode.
Yeah,
is
but dude,
like
the
a 30-minute long episode.
Dude, 6, 7. Caleb, what did you think about the Sunday night game?
I thought Penix I really think Penix is fine overall. Like, I know you talked about you're a little bit like wondering about the progression and what's he doing out there. I think pressure busts pipes, bro. And he's a young quarterback. Say whatever you want to. The offensive line did not help anybody that night. Bijan couldn't even get loose in the run game. Y'all had to line him up pretty much outside the tackle and just throw him screens all night to him to try to get positive yardage. I mean, I think, Atlanta knew they were outmatched. Like, San Francisco still got a really good defensive front, which plays football. You control the line of scrimmage, and most of the games you play, you're going to be good. And I think that was a classic example of what happened in this game. And then, Penix kind of played hurt at the end. Couldn't really get everything he wanted to into the ball the last 2 or 3 drives, probably. You're just going to have to roll with what you got, I think. And Jake talked about playing Kirk Cousins. If that's going to be to get him healthy and assume he's going to be back the next week, I think you're in a dicey spot. Because what if Kirk Cousins does throw for 440 yards?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. But one more point that I forgot to throw out here. So, even if we want to rewind the clock to the Buffalo game, like, our defense won that game against Buffalo. Our offense put us in position to lose that game just about every single drive in the second half. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. This is not like what we saw last night offensively was not that much different than what we saw in the second half of that Buffalo game. And that's what's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it goes as Bijan goes, and he didn't really have that great of a game. Obviously, I remember the halftime stats. He only like 30 total yards, and that's just he has to be getting over 100 yards a game for his team to, like, obviously show some offensive ability.
Yeah, and it goes on Zach Robinson, like, not just to pile on the guy even more, but Chase Lucas, a defensive back for San Francisco, after the game in the locker room was talking about, that last play, that fourth down, that pass to London, he was like, well, when I saw London motion across, like I knew it was going to be an out route. So he said, I'm honestly disappointed I didn't take it to the crib. And it's like, man, this is the 6th game of the season. This is the 6th game. It's not like we're like in December, January football. It's not the 7th. Like if we're talking divisional round in NFC championship game, they're like, oh yeah, we understand tendencies. That's fine. We are 6 games into the season, dude. We should not be like, it should not be that obvious what we're doing just on emotion. That is not good. That is not what you want to see. And Chase Lucas is not some guy that is like, Luke Kuechly type level IQ out there. Like he's good.
Maybe Robert Saleh, did he have the yellow dot on the back of his helmet? Because like those guys they're just getting talked to by their coaches on defense. That is the protocol. They just talk in their head and tell them what's coming.
Maybe. Okay, let's talk about some other games in the NFL. The Denver Broncos, you might as well call them the Denver Bulldogs, dude, at this point. I mean, what a comeback in the 4th against the New York Giants. This was definitely the game of the day if you weren't watching it. The Giants were up 19-0 going into the 4th quarter. They were up 26-8, I believe, with like 5-6 minutes to go, maybe 6 or 7. And the Broncos come back and win 33 points in the 4th quarter after scoring no points all game. The Giants even had a chance to just at least make it where they could go to overtime. They missed that extra point after scoring that touchdown. I mean, to talk about the Giants, remember they lost this game like this to the Cowboys back in like week 2. But the Broncos, man, they had that game against the Eagles a couple weeks ago where they're down 17 back and 1. The game against the Jets in London last week, they were awful offensively and were losing until like the late in 3rd quarter, and they do it again. They're first in the AFC West as well, so the Broncos could be on their way.
They could be. I mean, I've never seen a team come alive in the 4th quarter quite like I've seen this Denver Broncos team. 33 points after not scoring anything until the 4th. Like just looking at the box score, 0-0-0-33. I mean, I'll give someone $100 if they can find me a box score that looks like that. Anywhere else, I'll give you the last 5 years. Just find me a box score like that, text it to me, I'll Venmo you $100 because that's crazy. That's crazy. And then you talk about how they did it against the Eagles. And even, they're just, I don't know how good I think this team is, though. I'll say that. Like, I think they're a good 4th quarter team. I think Bo Nix is electric, and I think Sean Payton's is a good coach. And I think their defensive, pass rushers are elite, but I wonder how far this team can take it. I wonder. I hope I'm wrong, because I do. I think I'd enjoy watching them, play down the stretch. Tough loss for the Giants, though. Cam Scatterbo looked good, I guess. Jackson Dart, a decent game. I just can't believe it. How do you lose this one? How do you lose it?
You have a terrible kicker. We've said this again. This is like the second or third time we've referred to that.
Even still, make your kicks, yes, and they at least get overtime. Jeez, man, how do you give up 33 points in 1 quarter? In the National Football League.
I'm pretty sure that kicker also missed 2 field goals.
I know about the 2 extra points. I'm not.
It's a game right there. I mean, yeah, it's pretty rough. I know Bo Nix is a standalone man now. Like he's the first player in NFL history to score 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, in a quarter. I mean, the 4th quarter box score. He had 7 fantasy points at half. Because I was talking to somebody while I work on Sundays sometimes, and he had him. He was obviously not very thrilled, as was anybody else in the room with their fantasy team. But yeah, he ended up scoring 40. After he had 7 points at half on fantasy. That is an insane stat line. I think some of us were right on what we thought Denver could be. I thought they could win the division. They're on track. I mean, their 2 losses were by a field goal. So this team is that razor-thin margin from being undefeated.
Okay, let's talk about Caleb. The Patriots, 5-2, smoked the Titans 31-13. They were rocky start to begin the game. Titans had a little bit of a push. Cam Ward, I got a notification Cam Ward threw a touchdown pass for one of my fantasy leagues, and I haven't seen that all year, so that was pretty cool. And but the Patriots are 5-2, and you want to talk about a schedule. Let me pull this thing up.
It's weak. It's very weak.
The Patriots are winnable. 5-2 right now. Okay, their only losses, they lost in week 1 to Vegas, and they lost to Pittsburgh in week 3. They're next, until December. They've got Cleveland, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Jets, Giants, Bengals. Jets, Bengals, Giants. Okay, that's not as easy as I thought it was, to be honest. But let's say that's 4-2 at worst. So you're sitting at 9-4 by December. Is that the goal right now?
I think we want to win them all. And the quarterback's playing well enough for us to be able to do it right now. Drake May has had another excellent day. 2 incompletions, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. Seen a trend here. Maybe we're trying to throw up the deuces to the rest of the damn division because this guy is balling his ass off. And I think I've seen a couple times now that he's like the best deep ball accuracy in the NFL at this point. Almost perfect QBR on throws over 30 yards down the field. Are you kidding me? And he's young. He is breaking records that Brady's had week after week. It's got to be a sign of something that's greatness that's involved in there. And look, New England was not supposed to be here. Like, offensive line was like iffy. The receiver room, obviously, we all know was supposed to be iffy. Drake May is making the whole team go right now, and it's insane to see because we turn the ball over with our running backs, and we're good at fumbling, but Drake May takes care of football. He doesn't turn the ball over ever. It takes maybe a sack or two too much, but I think I'll take that when he has 2 incompletions.
You know what I just realized? Georgia, Florida, November 1st. Falcons, Patriots, November 2nd. All-time weekend
you know what?
for the pod.
A little birthday plan for me. I'm between going to one or the other right now. I haven't made my mind up yet.
Is the game in New England or in Atlanta?
It's in New England. It's in New England. No, I'm thinking about flying to Foxborough.
Dude, you should, dude. That'd be lit. That would be so lit. Okay, interesting. That is going to be a great weekend. That's going to be an awesome next pod after. Okay, Rams beat the Jags 35-7. Just got to know, Jake said he was at a birthday party for the London game on Sunday at 9:30.
It was pretty awesome, honestly. It was like as soon as I woke up, I took a shower, and I was out the door like at 8:45, like on the way to one of my buddy's houses, and I had 7 beers in me by 10:45.
Jeez,
dude, I had to stop, dude. Like I was getting a little toasted, and I had to tell. Like I think I was actually texting Ryan. Texted, he was like, "It's a long time till Sunday Night Football," and I was like, "You know what? He's right. I had to put down the Coors Light." But yeah, no, tough game.
We made the ass whooping a little easier to take.
It was. Well, I mean, there was probably like 30 people there, and like it was like we were having fun with it. I mean, it was an absolute blowout, so it didn't hurt. And they're not, I like the Jags, but like I'm not like emotionally invested to the Jaguars. So like I didn't, like I like when they win, but when they're losing, it's not like, who cares? Whatever. I'm having a good time. Have y'all ever had? This is completely off topic. Like the sliced like pastrami salmon.
Yeah.
Dude, there was some salmon laid in the back of that party. There was like original peppered and dill. Me and my buddy McGuire, we were just in the back of that party. Dude, we hammered about 40 of them. I mean, we just
the dill ones are unbelievable.
Dude,
bro.
they were all awesome. We started sticking our fingers in the cream cheese and like on the salmon. Dude, it was great. No, we had an awesome time. We had a great time. Shout out to my buddy Jack. Happy birthday. Today's his birthday, actually. We had a good time for the London game, but unfortunately for the Jags, they got absolutely blown out. And I'll tell you this about the Jaguars. I don't think the Jags are good. I think the Jags got lucky for the first 5 weeks on turnovers. And they don't have that guy, Devin Lloyd, in the middle of the field right now. He's hurt, and he was the guy generating those turnovers. And like turnovers are all good, granted, wonderful, but you can't ever like plan like your whole defensive game plan on. Well, Devin, you're going to catch a pick here. You're going to have a 99-yard pick six on a Pat Mahomes to completely shift the game. It's hard to plan for. It's impossible to plan for. So I don't know. I think the Jags are in a scary situation, especially seeing how good the Colts are.
Yeah, for sure. The Colts definitely are running away with that division. Let's go back to wrap up some other games. Thursday night football, Steelers and Bengals. Bengals come back in that game. We're down 10-0, I think. And then it just was a Joe Flacco special kind of night. Over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase went off. Huge win there. I said on the last pod, I thought it'd be pretty wild if the Steelers just started losing these games against these opponents. That is pretty wild. But Joe Flacco, he's got experience beating the Steelers. Saints, Bears beat the Saints 26-14. Spencer Rattler, solid game. I wonder I wonder how much if the Saints would ever give Tyler Shaw a shot. Just something to think about. You know who did get a shot was Quinn Ewers, because the Dolphins lost to the Browns 31-6 and 2 or 3 picks, and that was a stinker game. It was 1-5 versus 1-5, and the Browns are now 2-5.
Hey, also, he not only did he have 3 picks, he had 2 fumbles as well. Like, it was atrocious.
I think he had negative 5 or 6. You have him in one of the leagues.
I have him in my dynasty league. I played him over Jackson Dart because I thought Dart was going to have fits with Denver's defense, and Dart scored like 28 points. Tua, -7. 35-point swing. I'm going to lose by 20. Thank you. Worst manager, fire me.
Caleb wanted to axe the deal for Jaden Daniels before the season because I asked for Tua. He's like, I'll walk away from the deal right now.
Man, Chiefs smoked the Raiders 31-0. That play where they, I posted on the Instagram, that play where they were like trying to get the Raiders to jump, and then just Pat Mahomes yelled, "This never fucking works." And then
that was genius.
That was crazy.
Genius.
The Raiders are super bad, though. I mean, they put Kenny Pickett in this game. Eagles beat the Vikings 28-22. Carson Wentz has 2 brutal interceptions in the first half. I was watching this game. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, probably his best game as a passer in the NFL. I mean, 19 for 23, 326, 3 tuds. A.J. Brown, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith had a touchdown. Devontae Smith actually had career highs in this game, 9 catches, 183 yards. Big win there for the Eagles. Carson J.J. McCarthy, like, I don't know what the plan is there with him, but I think he needs to start playing. If I was the Eagles or Vikings, I don't know. Panthers beat the Jets 13-6. Jets are 0-7. Panthers are 4-3. That was their first win on the road this year. Beat the Chargers 38-24. I think the Colts are just like a really good team and are a threat in the AFC right now.
Yeah, but the Chargers have now lost 3 of their last 4, and their one win was a 2-point win against the Dolphins. Like, it's kind of getting scary.
Herbo, though, 4 tuds.
I mean, that's all they got now. Their entire team is hurt up front, I think. Like, they got like 3 offensive linemen that are out for the year.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm going to say this, and I want you to know I take no pleasure in saying this because I love Justin Herbert. He did not play very good in this football game. He did not play very good. He threw it. I mean, he played okay, but there was just one interception he threw on the goal line that just like changed the entire outlook of the game. And like when you're talking about Justin Herbert, he has to be better. And like stuff like that can't happen. You know, like 5-yard line, we're throwing end zone picks. Can't happen. Can't happen.
You're right. It cannot happen. The Cowboys beat the Commanders 44-22. Dak Prescott keeps his MVP ways. Looks like Jaden Daniels got a little roughed up. His mom tweeted after the game something like, "Stop comparing him to RG3. You guys are going to like curse him or something." Do you guys see that?
I did not see. I think the dynamic between him and his mom is so weird, though. Like she's in a commercial with him.
Yeah, no, it's strange. I mean,
it's like incestuous.
Yeah, it's. I agree.
You put them hands down, Caleb. Dog, put their hands down. He's like, well, hold on.
I mean, I'm just, backing away from the table of this conversation, I think.
Oh,
that's a ravenous claim, I think. He's got lawyers that are better than mine, so I don't want any part of what that statement was there.
I thought we were about to get a hear me out.
No, sir.
Oh, man. Packers beat the Packers beat the Cardinals 27-23. That wraps up all the NFL games on Sunday. Tonight, as we're recording, the Lions are currently beating the Bucks 14-3. Would be huge if the Bucks could finally lose a game, but it's classic Bucks. They don't show up till the fourth, so you never know. Texans got the Seahawks later tonight. That will be interesting one as well. Okay, let's get into our players and deep thought of the week. Cam Scatterbo smoked the competition last week, so Caleb got the win there. So it is now 3, me, 2, each of you. So it's getting a little closer. I've been letting you guys go first, okay? So I'm going to go first this time because I haven't went first in a long time. And my player of the week this week is going to be Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame running back, 24 carries, 228 yards, and a touchdown. We talked about the game slightly. They ran the ball for over 300 yards in this game, and this is the kind of Jeremiah Love we've been waiting to see. And he had an absolute killer game. My girlfriend's mom was over at the apartment today, and she said that she watched that Notre Dame game. She goes, whoever number 4 is, he is going to play in the NFL.
Out, dude.
One of you guys can go, whoever wants it.
Caleb, I'll give you the honors. You got it.
Thank you. And by the way, she's talking. I like the pick. Gary. That was my number 2. And I had a conversation with somebody at work today. Don't want to interrupt the segment here, but do you think if you had a draft of college football players, somebody at work today said they would take Jeremiah Love number 1. I said I'd take Ty Simpson number 1.
I'll say this. I was
Love's
looking
up
at
there, man.
I was looking at the quarterback draft next year. It's not necessarily strong. I don't think like Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza. Like, I don't know. Good question.
That's a good question. It's a really good question. I don't know.
I mean, Jeremiah Love's in that. Anyways, we'll get
Jeremiah
maybe
Smith.
Downs, right? I mean, we don't really know. We never see them. I mean, they play it at 2:30 on CBS, and it's like 10 a.m. where they're at. Anywho, my player of the week is an old relic. Sometimes, in order to go forward, you got to go back. And the Cincinnati Bengals went back this week and took Joe Flacco, picked him up off the street, promised land. 31 for 47, 342, 3 touchdowns. And he was so electric with throwing the football. He opened up Chase Brown on draw plays. Like, that was his rushing yards. He didn't run the ball just like downhill. No, that was like they're spread thin because Joe Flacco is Dyson. And if you watch the game, unbelievable quarterback play, brother. Like, not only is his stat line good, like what he was doing was insane. Ball was being thrown within a second and a half of him getting the football. And it's just like over linebacker, in between a safety, just inside the nickel. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And he got the ball to his playmakers. Jamar Chase got 20 as he
16
should.
grabs. Yeah. If you did not watch that game last Thursday, Rodgers versus Flacco, like, I'm sorry, because you probably that might be like the last we ever see of like the 2010s, the 2010 QBs. Like, it might be out. It might be gone.
Bro, that might have been my most favorite game I've watched. Like, that is not affiliated with my team in like the last, I don't know, 7 years. I swear to you. Just like it's a relic. That will never happen again.
You left off one other stat, 11 yards rushing for Joe Flacco in this one too. He pulled it. Yeah, great pick. That's going to be the winner. I don't even know why I bothered here. So my player of the week, I'm excited to see y'all's reaction to this one, to see if it holds up. My player of the week is going to be Shohei Ohtani. In strikeout, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 10 Ks, and 3 home runs. 3 home runs in one game. 10 Ks and 3 bombs.
Dude, you just broke the freaking 4th dimension.
Is that we striking that down? Can I be Shohei?
That's how it works.
That's
okay. Listen, I'm trying to get creative in like how I win this thing.
It's like that Oklahoma play against Auburn.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Well, my player of the week in that case is going to be Christian McCaffrey for his performance last night. 24 carries, $129 on the ground, 2 tuds, 7 grabs for 72 yards through the air. Love Bijan Robinson, but I feel like last night, and y'all correct me if y'all think it different, I feel like Christian McCaffrey felt like kind of personal last night. Like, I like Bijan, and everyone was talking about, hey, Christian McCaffrey took Bijan under his wing this summer and trained him up, and now Bijan's the guy. And Christian McCaffrey's like, I'm still here, and I am still him. CMC was unstoppable.
I like how no one picked Gunnar Stockton there. I was thinking about it, but I'm sure there's going to be some people in the replies tomorrow be like, where's Gunnar? But I think it's better that no one did for the voting purposes there. So
I also thought about taking Lawson Lucky with 3 tuds. I did think about that.
Would have won. Okay, let's finish it off with our deep thoughts of the week before we get out of here. I will start again, and I'm going to go back to Friday night. I was sitting at Los Bravos Mexican restaurant, where I go a lot, and I love it over there. And they take care of me every single time, and I really appreciate it over there. Shout out Los Bravos Brookhaven. Would love an advertisement with you. And I was sitting there. Jake just mentioned the baseball, and I'm sitting there, and I look up at the TV, and I see the ALCS is on between the Mariners and the Blue Jays, and I notice that it's on FS1. And I go, the ALCS is on FS1. And I go, what is on Fox right now? What is on the main Fox? I mean, people, if you're not familiar, FS1 is basically like ESPN2. ESPN, there's the main one, and then there's ESPN2. This is the, Fox Sports 2, where they call it Fox Sports 1. Nebraska, Minnesota was on the main Fox channel. And look, we don't really talk about baseball a lot on the show. And I just want to say that That is the reason right there, because not even the TV people think that putting the American League Championship Series with one of the biggest spectacles in baseball is better than a Big Ten game on a Friday night between Minnesota and Nebraska. So football is king. That is my deep thought. And no matter whether it's college or the NFL, it seems like it is never going to be even close, because that is as crazy as it can get for the championship of a league in baseball. Major League Baseball is getting outshadowed by a mid-tier Big Ten game on a Friday night.
Yeah, it's a shame too. Like that honestly makes me kind of sad. Like I kind of hate that. Because the game on Friday, like the Mariners Blue Jays game, it's a pretty entertaining game. I didn't watch it. I mean, like I would love to tell you that I sat there and I watched all like 260 pitches of that game, but like I watched a little bit. It was on. It was on for a little bit. I watched a couple innings.
Where were you at on Friday night?
What was I doing on Friday night?
You just had it on?
Yeah, I mean, I was at the crib. Well, I don't even remember what I was doing on Friday. I was here. I was just watching games, I guess.
Wild night, huh?
Yeah. What was I doing on Friday?
You just flipped over to FS1 for a little bit?
Well, I remember watching it because I remember because it has Seattle got 8 and it got 5 in the 8th, and the big dumper hit a home run. Cal Riley.
I do remember seeing Cal Riley hit.
Like I remember, I do remember that happening, and then Suarez hit a grand slam. So I do remember that. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I'll kind of keep on that same regard. For my deep thought of the week is the NBA starts back this week. We have NBA basketball on tomorrow. We have Warriors Lakers at 10 and Rockets Thunder at 7:30. Did you know that? Did y'all know
I literally
that?
did not know that the NBA was starting until Ryan sent the extension thing on today, and I was like, man, when does that start? And then I looked, and I was like, oh, it starts tomorrow.
Like, how about that? How about that? Good to know. According to the
We're getting the sports
ESPN
equinox
schedule,
here soon.
We are very, very close. The Hawks and the Raptors play on Wednesday. That's open tonight. And I think I'm going to try and keep up with basketball this year. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to keep up with the Hawks. I'll say that because I think the Hawks should be good. We had a good offseason according to the people on the internet. I don't know any better, but hopefully they're right, and hopefully we can make a run and do something. I'm hearing like we should be like top 3 in the East.
Yeah, it's a roughed up year in the NBA. You know, the Celtics don't have Tatum, the Pacers don't have Halliburton. It's wide open. That's what they say. The Knicks, you know, who's their coach nowadays, Caleb? You're a Knicks fan.
Former, I think. I don't know if I announced this publicly or like on the podcast. I've said this to others, but after James Dolan fired Tibbs, I have just resigned. I'm done. I'm done. I can't handle it anymore.
So you a Hawks fan?
Okay, and you know what? This is interesting. Maybe this has got to be my deep thought because this is probably going to take a while right here. I had the same conversation with somebody else, and I said, all right, well, I got to pick some teams that are like around. You know, I went Miami Heat, the Hornets, the Magic, dude, maybe. And when I said the Orlando Magic, I got some spitfire from some Hawks fans. Is that like a rivalry? Is that a real thing?
Kind of, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same division, the Southeast Division. Talk about something that does not matter. Division.
It doesn't matter at all. What? Okay, actually, like it genuinely, it means nothing because you play every single team in the Eastern Conference twice, right? It doesn't matter.
I think you play them, more than that. Like, I think
4 times. You play them 4 times, and you play every team in the West twice. I think that's what it is.
Something like that.
So it doesn't even matter, and it doesn't matter if you're in the division or whatever. And then, like, if
it doesn't matter if you win the division, I don't even think it matters in terms of seeding. Like in baseball,
you can theoretically miss the playoffs and win your division.
Be a rule that if you win your divisions, like you got to be able to at least be locked in the playoffs, I would think. But
while Caleb's talking, I'm doing deep diving.
But yeah, Caleb, what is your deep thought? I mean, is it just who you're going to be a fan of in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that. I think I am going to keep up with the Hawks, but I'm not going to necessarily just be like, you know, I'm not going to go buy a T-shirt or anything unless a guy is selling it for $5 as I'm walking in the stadium one game. I would like to go to a Hawks game, though. I hadn't been to an NBA game in a while. Anyway, my deep thought is about something that went on in that game last night with y'all's team, and I found it to be disgusting and vile out of a coach to put 10 players on the field for the most important play of the game.
We didn't even talk about that.
There is no way on God's green earth that a defensive coach who's been a head coach multiple times and a DC who has timeouts has an entire staff looking from the press box, looking for their position group. Is there no organization in terms of who's looking at what? There's got to be checks for 10 players on 3rd and 13.
Three men on the line of scrimmage. 3 men on 3rd and 13. 3 guys.
It would be better. I would be more upset if he had 12 players on the field, because at least he tried to get them out there to defend something, you know? Maybe you get to double team somebody, but no. Instead, he puts 10 players on the field.
Well, thankfully, Caleb, I'm gonna make your day here. They actually got called for 12 men on the field like 4 plays before that, so we did both of it on that last drive. We did both of them. Too many, not enough.
You guys said it earlier, and I'm with you. I'm not usually behind firing of coaches like when they're winning games. There's just some people that are showing up, and I think even after it's all said and done, the people at home can see it. Some people just need to have their ass fired. Point blank simple.
Raheem sucks. And
Raheem needs to go.
Yeah.
It is not going to get better. No matter how good of a team Atlanta will have, they will never win more than 10 or 11 games and win more than one wild card game with him as head coach. There's no way that he keeps the boat steady for that many games. And it shows he legitimately, obviously they didn't play good leading up to that, so he didn't have them necessarily very ready. But then when it's your turn to produce for your side of the ball that you primarily coach as the head coach, the reason why you get paid the big bucks, and you leave a player on the sidelines, that's fireable offenses in my book. Yeah. And there are many other coaches in America that, I usually have sympathy for them. I'm a coach, but man, that is just an unbelievable move, especially at the NFL level, where you have 200 coaches on your staff. Everybody in America is looking at this, and nobody saw it.
You want to talk about another thing? If you're talking about you left someone on the sidelines, another Falcons coaching malpractice, 4th and 1 for the Falcons right before that possession. Sean Robinson is standing on the sideline next is to Z-Rob, just waiting to hope we get the first down and I can get back in the game. But what are we doing? What are we doing? Just try to get cute. They just want to get cute in this one. That's what I'm saying. Earlier, I'm not too upset that I'm upset we lost, but I did see it coming. It's stuff like this. You're losing a very winnable game that should have been a tough game. That's what makes it sting.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully the Falcons and Kirk Cousins can beat the Dolphins on Sunday.
Yeah.
Gosh, Lee, that would be awesome.
Dude, it was up here last week, and now you guys are just rolling on the floor.
We're right. I'm always right here with the Falcons. I don't know if I've made that clear enough on the Falcons. I'm never too high or low. I'm beating the Bills on Monday night was cool. It made me wish I was at the game, honestly, because those are the games you want to go to. But we'll see. Like I said earlier, I think they're 9-8 at best if they just win the games they're supposed to. I am planning on going out to Tampa Bay for the Thursday night game in December. So keep your eyes peeled there. Well, we'll wrap up episode 21 of Deep Shot Podcast. Great episode, fellas. We are in October 20th right now, October 21st as you're hearing this. It is just been an awesome season so far, and we still got so much to go. Reminder about the stream tomorrow with me and Swaggy JLK and the Deep Shot Party, November 22nd. It is going to be an awesome event. We're going to have great games, great beer, great people, and we're going to do it for a great cause. Remember, you bring a dog or cat toy, dog or cat food to donate, and Mutation Brewery is going to hook you up with some free drinks. We will see everybody there. It's just a month away. Make sure your calendars are cleared. For Jake and Caleb, we will see you guys in a couple days. Deep Shot out.